Welcome to Making It Happen TV, where we're here to inspire and encourage you to pursue your gifts and talents. Welcome back. You know, right up the road is a great little town called St. Louis that I know a lot of you have already heard of. But there's a gentleman in there. I don't know how the Lord brings all these people into our lives, but I saw this man on this website one day, and we thought we've got to have him on Making It Happen. So straight from St. Louis, Missouri, let me welcome Mike Rimmey. Thank you so much for coming, Mike. We appreciate it.
Great to be here.
Thank you. Would you have a seat on our couch and let's chat for a little bit?
All right.
Thank you so much for coming. It's a long trip from St. Louis in a way,
It's
isn't it?
about 6 hours.
6
we
hours.
drove down
Well,
about
that's
6 hours. Not too bad, no.
Now,
not too
you
bad.
got in late last night, didn't you? So
Yeah.
you didn't get to have dinner with us.
It was pushing midnight, but when we got in, and you know, the kids, that was about the time they woke up. So
Speaking of children, you've got 5 children,
we have
right?
5, yeah.
Wow.
They all came with
Girls,
us. So.
boys?
Boy, girl, boy. 10,
that's great.
a year and a half. We had 5
your
kids
youngest
and
one is a year and a half.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I can't wait to... Is that the girl?
That's the boy.
Boy.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
can't wait to meet all
Yeah.
your children. We're going to do that later when we go
Right.
to Hideaway Pizza. You're going to enjoy that.
Okay.
Okay. Tell me, we talked just briefly here, and you said that you were just saved, born again, about 5 years ago.
Yeah, I guess it was about 6 years ago.
Okay.
You know, grew up in a church, but it just wasn't a very spiritual environment, and I never knew the Lord on a personal basis until that time. And my wife and I were both sort of brought together along at the same time. She
Wow.
had a friend at work that was witnessing to her, and you know, he came over to our house and brought his Bible with him, and I am the type of person that likes to discover things and learn and read and find things out on my own, sort of. And so I took that Bible and started reading the Bible. It was the Word of God that just came alive inside of me. I would get the Bible out and read to the kids at night, and
Really?
they'd all fall asleep, and I'd sit there and read all night long. Just, you know,
Just from that one man coming over and talking to you?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was, you know, there were a lot of things that I was confused about, and he'd clear that up as he could, and he was really a big help and just a blessing in our life. But John 1:1 was really the one. In the beginning was the Word,
Right.
and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And I, you know, what? And he, you know, showed me that the Word is Jesus Christ. And in all my years of going to church and
my
Sunday school,
goodness.
I never knew that Jesus Christ was God, and he was in the beginning with God, and he pre-existed his you know, earthly existence,
Right.
and is God, and it just exploded inside of me, and I couldn't wait to find out more, and I just read that
Man.
Bible over and through, and
Well,
Lord,
so, I mean, you were going to church, though, basically
No.
all of your life? But
no.
I mean, 'cause
I did grow up in a church as a kid, and then
Right.
as
Okay.
I grew older, had enough of that, and
Because
boy, I
when
hadn't seen the inside of a church in probably 10 or 15 years, probably. So
Yeah.
until that time, yeah.
Because as you're a child, if the Word doesn't come alive in your life, there's really not much sense in going, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's kind of neat.
That's right.
I mean, just to think, you know, the Scripture talks about someone plants, someone waters, and God gives the increase, right?
Yeah.
So, well, that's
right.
really neat the way that
That's
happened,
right.
though.
Yeah.
I mean, He planted that seed and just set you on fire with it. So,
Yeah.
so from then, is that where all this music came from, or was that already
yeah,
there?
I had been playing music for a long time, and
Okay.
you know,
Writing songs?
writing songs and playing, you know, in bands and playing by myself, happy hours, and you know, not the best places where live music ends up sometimes. But anyway, when we started having children, I quit, you know, music, and I did really miss that, you know. And then
Sure.
when the Lord started giving me these new songs, it was like, wow, this is cool. I can pick up the guitar, and we went out and did some open mic nights, and I tried out some of the new Christian songs, and it just sort of took off from there.
Well, you said when the Lord started giving you these songs, so did you sit down with the guitar and say, now that I know the Lord, I think I'm going to write some Christian songs, or did it just one day you're sitting there and, I mean, how'd that happen, though?
Yeah, I tend to get melodies very easily, and when, you know, in the songwriting aspect of things, I get the melodies right away, and then I have to sit down and work out the lyrics.
But were you thinking God stuff? Were you thinking
the lyrics changed? You know, what was important to me had changed, and that started to come through in the songs.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah.
So where's it taken you? Because I know in 2006, now you said 6 years ago is when you met the Lord, but in 2006 some good things happened to you with the music. Tell us about that.
Well, in 2005, I had the great experience of recording some of these songs, and made a CD, and I sent the CD around a few places to start letting people hear it, and got connected with the Christian Country Music Association in Nashville, and they've really been a big help. And by the grace of God, before I knew what happened, you know, the song was on radio stations and popping up on the charts, and I think in 2006 I was nominated for New Artist of the Year, so it was a blessing.
That is neat.
Yeah.
And you know, so many people don't realize that God's got a plan and a purpose for our lives, and even though you had to wait several years to get there where you actually accepted the Lord, He accelerated. It seems like, am I correct? He accelerated what He was doing in your life as soon as you...
I think so, yeah.
Because that's a short period of time. Some of us wait years. You know,
yeah. I can see turning points even before that started leading me in the right direction. I have a science background, and when I was in college, my degree's in biology. I worked for the biology department, and I was just looking forward to going to graduate school and even going to Costa Rica to work with this professor in the rainforest. And I'm about the most conservative right-wing person you could meet by. I did have a brief liberal period back in college, but anyway, I was into the rainforest and, you know, save the rainforest. It's here, still here, by the way, but I was working for the biology department, and we were out in the field working with prairie plants, and we'd take tape and tape off a 10-foot square and count all the plants in there and get all the data and give that to the professor. And one day we're out in the field and doing this, and he was with us and 4 or 5 other students, and we'd been out there all day. It was hard work. It was toward the end of the day, and the sky just lit up in the most gorgeous sunset you could ever imagine. Right. And everybody stopped and looked at it. And I'll never forget, the professor stood up and he said, "Boy, that's so beautiful, it almost makes me believe in God."
Oh, wow.
And, you know, I'd been in this secular school surrounded by atheists all day for 4 years, so I'd heard this type of thing before, but some reason, you know, in the presence of that sunset, that really hit me the wrong way, and it made me start thinking, wait, you know, where am I headed here?
Oh, wow.
And it was a turning point, because I didn't go to graduate school and continue on that path. I, you know, was just blessed and met the love of my life, and got married and got a job, and we started having children, and then I came to know the Lord, and
wow.
And
well, you know, you said that turning point. That's I interviewed a gentleman several years ago, and he called those defining moments. Yeah. You know, and so often we miss out on some defining moments when God, you know. So it's really neat that you notice that, you recognize that, and I think it happens to us all the time. If we'll just be listening, you know, or we'll be watching and seeing what those are defining moments that you're either going to go this way or that way. Yeah. And, you know,
a lot of times you know, the flesh, your 5 senses don't pick up those moments. You know, it has to come through your spirit. So.
Oh yes, yes, that's it. So we need to train our spirits.
That's right.
Here.
That's right.
Too often, too many years I went by the flesh. Yeah. So, well, listen. Would you please make your way over to the stage and sing it? I've heard some of your songs. You've got a terrific voice. I can't wait to hear you.
I'd love to.
So
Great.
I appreciate it. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with Mike Rimmey.
noticed he was getting older. He saw the tattoo on his shoulder, a monkey on his back. I know a man. He took a good look in the mirror. He saw that day was getting nearer when there'll be no turning back. He said, I know I need to change, 'cause I can't do it on my own. I can't make it on my own. And now it's time to just let go and turn it over. I know, man, misplaced his trust, misplaced his life, the wrong places late at night, searching for the keys. I know, man. He heard a small, still voice inside him, felt a gentle hand beside him as he fell down on his knees. He said, I know I need to change, 'cause I can't do it on my own. I can't make it on my own. Now it's time to just let go and turn it over. Jesus, take my life and take my hand and lead me through this lost and broken land. 'Cause I can't do it on my own. I can't make it on my own. And now it's time to just let go and turn it over. I can't do it on my own. I can't make it on my own. And now it's time to just let go and turn it over. And turn it over. She's harder than diamonds. She's hard on herself. And she's only 4 years old. She's hard on my patience. She's hard to resist. But she's real easy to hold. She's got me wrapped around her finger, and she's a soft spot in my world. And she's the reason I found Jesus. She's Daddy's little girl. She's so independent. She's so unrestrained. But she needs a tender touch. She's bound and determined to do it her way. But she needs me so much. She's got me wrapped around her finger, and she's a soft spot in my world. And she's the reason I found Jesus. She's got me wrapped around her finger, and she's a soft spot in my world. And she's the reason I found Jesus. She's Daddy's little girl. She's Daddy's little girl. Ask and it will be given. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open. All in His perfect time. He gives us hope for tomorrow. We call on His holy name. We place our trust in Christ Jesus. We place our trust in His name. Call and you will be answered. Pray and He will hear. Shout a message of praise. Smile, your future is clear. He gives us hope for tomorrow. We call on His holy name. We place our trust in Christ Jesus. We place our trust in His name.
Today I found a lucky flower. I think that's a good sign. Another family is coming this week to choose one of us. And this time, maybe, just maybe, they will choose me.
Welcome back. And we have Mike Rimmey here with us again. And so, you know, I really get into songs that talk about children, you know, or the life of a father or a mother, and, you know, how we intertwine with our families. And tell me a little bit about that song you just sang, Daddy's Little Girl. That had to have come from an experience.
Daddy's
Right.
Little Girl, right. It was, I wrote that for my daughter Cassidy. She was 4 at the time. She's 8 now, so it tells you how old the song is.
Yeah.
But, that's her favorite too, by the way. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, there's a line in the song, you know, that says, "She's the reason I found Jesus."
Right.
And it sort of is the question everybody has. Well, how, you know, how did that work?
Right.
But she was, you know, just born at a time when we were still kind of searching and hadn't really found the Lord yet.
Right.
And it was just a very, very difficult labor and delivery, and my wife had some trouble with that, and just seems like in the recovery and the healing process of that is during the time she found healing and she found the Lord at the same time. And
Wow. That's a beautiful
it's just-
story.
yeah.
Wow. Oh, my goodness. So, and then now your little girl, does she know that that was actually written? Does she understand that?
Yeah,
That
I
it
think
was-
so. Yeah, yeah, she does.
Well, of course, she's 8
She
now.
does.
She understands by now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, they actually they all want their own song now since she has one. So
Wow.
I've got some work cut out for
I
me
bet
there,
you
but
do.
Yeah.
But you know, you have such a gentle spirit, and you know, I love the way that. Well, your voice is so unique. I told you that earlier. But your spirit just really comes forth as the gentleness of God. You know, and I think, like I said earlier, so many people have different ways that they express God in their lives. You know, some of us are more boisterous than others, but that gentle, sweet spirit that you have, I think it it has a lot to do with the songs that God brings forth out of you. And are there other songs maybe that there's a specific message in there from a personal relationship?
I have, quite a few songs we're ready to record. So I've got a couple more CDs worth of material there. And I'm sure some of them are definitely personal. I just wrote a song called All I'll Ever Need, which is, I'm kind of rushing out there because we're so excited about it. It's not on this CD, but it's going to be on the next one. But, and it's a song about faith and about knowing that your strength comes from God and the power that God has given to you as a born-again believer, and using your faith in a positive way. So many people, you hear even Christians, and they sit and talk about, oh, I'm so sick, and the doctor told me I've got this and that, and they're claiming these things
right.
when they could be using their positive energy that God gives them and their faith in a more positive way. Yeah.
You know what amazes me still about you, though, is that you have grown so much spiritually, knowing how God works in really such a short length of time. When some of us, it takes a long time to understand how God works in our lives. So, that's amazing. That you really need to hang on to whatever it is that works in your head and in your heart that causes you to grab on so quickly to the things of God, because that's not the way it is with a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hard knocks along in life, before we really figure out what God's doing. But, we're running out of time, Mike. But I want you all to go to his website, check out some of his other songs that he's got on there, and you're just a great guy. Thank you for coming all the way from St. Louis to join us today, and I hope you come back and join us again.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. You all, God is so good, so great in our lives if we will just allow him to be. I sit here and I think of I've been serving God for over 40 years, and I think I'm like the queen of the school of hard knocks, I've always said. But it doesn't have to be that way. God's got a plan and a purpose that is so much bigger than what we can even imagine. So stay tuned for next week's show. We've got a man that you don't want to miss, Javen, all the way from Los Angeles, California. So we'll see you next time. Thanks. People that haven't been in abusive situations, they think, what is wrong with you? Can't you just get over it? But you can't get over it unless somebody tells you how. The sad part of it is that so many people end up in these abusive situations, and you wonder why there's so much depression. Why is there so much suicide? Why is there so much alcoholism? Why is there so much drug addiction? There's something causing all of that.
Yes, it is.
There's something inside of you that's hurting. And you need to understand why you're hurting. But I was still a child inside. Because, it's almost like you get stuck in a period emotionally, and you can't go anywhere with it. So I got to the point where suicide was on my mind constantly. How can I get out of this? How can I just stop the pain? It was almost like I had an open wound that I couldn't get to heal.
abuse and domestic violence can cripple you emotionally. Victoria will interview guests who are willing to share their stories of survival and the steps they are taking to heal themselves. The next time you're in Tulsa or the surrounding area and you need a place to stay, may I suggest Studio 6, which is right in the heart of Tulsa. The rates are great, the rooms are well kept, they have a skilled maintenance crew, and most of all, Rios and his staff will make you feel right at home. By the way, did I mention I'm speaking from experience?